Battle through the heavens, grand world. Chapter 106. Do you dare to bet? Xiao Yan. When they saw the sudden appearance of Xiao Yan, the people of Tuanji gang below the stage were shocked, and their eyes were filled with shock as they looked at the former. These days, in the eyes of the crowd, Xiao Yan was just a weak sovereign. He also knew that the 100,000 monarch crystals in the gang were taken out by him. Originally, they thought that he was just a lucky guy, but today, he sent Tai San flying with a single strike. Big brother Xiao, give them a good beating. Below the stage, when Lu Wu saw Xiao Yan appear, he was so excited that tears welled up in his eyes. When Du Ruoxi said that the Martial Strength Hall was going to fight the Tuanji gang in the Black region, Lu Wu knew what Xiao Yan had guessed had happened. Du Ruoxi had also been shocked by Xiao Yan, who had just advanced to the alien realm soul. The first reaction she had, when she received the letter of challenge, was to pull Xiao Yan along. She was rejected by Lu Wu because of Xiao Yan's cultivation. Although she was anxious, Du Ruoxi was not a brainless person, so she did not forcefully wake Xiao Yan up. Xiao Yan, although your soul power is very strong, you still have to be careful. They are very strong. Du Ruoxi struggled to get up and carefully warned Xiao Yan. Her eyes swept across and saw the unconscious Bai Lufeng in the arms of one of the Martial Strength Hall's men. Her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. Xiao Yan's cold eyes looked at the three men from the Tuanji gang who had fainted due to the battle. These days, they had gotten along very well with Xiao Yan. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yan's expression became even colder. Don't worry. With their strength, there is no need for them to use their soul force. His eyes swept across the people from the Martial Strength Hall below the stage. Although there were many of them, Xiao Yan didn't put their strength in his eyes. Finally, his eyes stopped on Bai Julang. Xiao Yan let out a cold laugh and said slowly, "Kid, who are you?" Bai Julang wasn't a fool when he saw Xiao Yan send Tai San flying with a single punch. With Tai San's monarch spirit strength, he could send Tai San flying with a single punch. At least, he had to be at least at the 6th Dao monarch spirit or above. In the Black region, however, there were 5 or more monarch spirit experts. He could count them with 2 hands. Among all the monarch spirit warriors he knew, it seemed like this young man in front of him was nowhere to be found. While Bai Julang was guessing, some of the onlookers from the surrounding gangs were shocked as well. 3 monarch spirit warriors were sent flying with 1 punch, and their strength was at least at the 5th monarch spirit. Since when did this tiny Tuanji gang have such a powerful warrior? Xiao Yan laughed lightly, and his eyes were filled with coldness as he looked at Bai Julang. Didn't you want the monarch crystal? I took out the 100,000 monarch crystals. What do you think? If you want it, come up on your own. With Xiao Yan's current strength, there was no need for him to be afraid of anyone with the strength of monarch spirit and alien realm soul. He could take advantage of today's opportunity to consolidate Tuanji gang's position in Black region, so that no one would want to attack Tuanji gang in the future. Wu. When Bai Julang heard this, he didn't immediately accept the challenge as Xiao Yan had expected. Instead, he fell into deep thought. He was able to control the Martial Strength Hall. After so many years, he naturally had a deep mind. His eyes were fixed on Xiao Yan, but he didn't make any rash moves. Looking at the surrounding crowd, Xiao Yan smiled once again and said, "Of course. Anyone who can obtain the 100,000 monarch crystals can come up and fight me. How about it? What? Has this kid gone crazy? He's so arrogant just by defeating a 3rd Dao monarch spirit. What an ignorant fool. Such a person won't be able to live long in Black region." When the people below heard this, they were all startled. Then, they started laughing coldly, and their disdainful voices became louder and louder. Du Ruoxi was shocked when she saw Xiao Yan standing in the middle of the platform and declaring war on the entire Black region. She looked at Xiao Yan with disbelief in her eyes. Did this guy have something to rely on, or was he trying to make things difficult for her? All right, since Hall Master Bai is unwilling to step forward, then let me give it a try. Not long after Xiao Yan's voice faded, a ferocious-looking bald man jumped out from the crowd and steadily stood on the stage. His voice was like thunder. "Hee, it's Black Tiger, the leader of the Black Tiger gang, a subordinate of the Martial Strength Hall. This guy has the strength of a 5th Dao monarch spirit. When he's ruthless, even a 6th Dao monarch spirit is afraid of him. When they saw the bald man, the people below started discussing him. With just a few words, they had already explained the background of the bald man. Bai Julang still did not speak. He looked at the bald man with a strange light flashing in his eyes. Kid, you are talking about 100,000 monarch crystals, right? The black evil tiger looked at Xiao Yan, who was only in front of its chest, and said with a cold smile. Since that's the case, I'll make a bet with everyone here. After saying that, Xiao Yan looked at the aggressive bald man and said, your gang is a subordinate of the Martial Strength Hall. How about this, if you win against me, the 100,000 monarch crystals will belong to you. Under everyone's gaze, Xiao Yan flipped his hand and a monarch crystal card appeared in his palm. With a wave of his hand, a pile of monarch crystals fell out. What the? This? Seeing Xiao Yan casually throw out nearly 1,000 monarch crystals, everyone below began to pant. They wished that they could immediately kill that black-clothed young man. But if you lose, everything in your gang, even if it's just a blade of grass, will belong to the Tuanji gang. Xiao Yan's tone suddenly changed. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at Black Evil Tiger. What? When the black tiger heard this, its facial expression changed, and a trace of a cold smile appeared on its ferocious face. It said, Brat, you want my black tiger gang? Aren't you afraid of bursting to death? As soon as his voice faded, the black fiend tiger had already rushed towards Xiao Yan like a storm. The sharp origin monarch key on his fist actually caused the surrounding air to have friction. That means you have agreed. Xiao Yan smiled when he saw this. His expression did not change when he saw the charging black evil tiger. Xiao Yan suddenly lowered his body the moment the latter's iron fist was about to hit his chest. His feet moved slightly and he easily dodged the furious attack of the black evil tiger. Boom! Xiao Yan, who had dodged the attack, did not hesitate to raise his fist and suddenly struck the stomach of the black evil tiger. The force was so great that it emitted sonic booms in the air. Puff! Xiao Yan's speed was so fast that the black tiger was hit before it could react. Its abdomen suffered a heavy blow. The black tiger couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Its huge body staggered and stood up. Before the crowd could react, it fell weakly onto the stage. He admitted defeat just like that. All right, I will reluctantly accept your black tiger gang. Boss Du, let our brothers take over the black tiger gang later. If you are not convinced, let him come and find me. Without looking at the fallen black fiend tiger, Xiao Yan raised his head and said in a clear voice, causing everyone below to be stunned. Wah! What? Black fiend tiger was punched by that brat. How is that possible? Could it be that that brat is an emperor? Powerhouse. Du Ruoxi, who was below the stage, looked at Xiao Yan's smile. At this moment, that smile was a complete mystery in Du Ruoxi's eyes. When she heard Xiao Yan's words, she subconsciously agreed. Bastard thing, what nonsense are you spouting? When did the Black Tiger gang let you take over? There was no lack of members of the Black Tiger gang below. When they heard Xiao Yan's words, they were instantly enraged. Each and every one of them wished they could chop Xiao Yan into 8 pieces. Xiao Yan looked coldly at the few Black Tiger gang members who were clamoring and said coldly, I have said it. Anyone who doesn't accept it can come and find me. The pressure contained in this gaze made the members of the Black Tiger gang tremble. Cold sweat broke out on their foreheads, and they were speechless for a moment. Seeing Xiao Yan standing alone on the stage and intimidating the nearly 100 people below, the eyes of the Tuanji gang members were filled with admiration. To these brave men, this was what they called a true man. Division Chief Bai, how about I make a bet with you? As one of the 3 big gangs in Black Region, Martial Strength Hall is indeed not something that some small gangs can compare with. If I lose, I'll give you 1 million Monarch Crystals. If you lose, everything in Martial Strength Hall will belong to Tuanji gang. Do you dare to bet? Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.